Hey there YouTube, it's your girl Fozia back with another video. So today I'll be talking about driving test and license in Alberta. I got the learner's license in Alberta about 2.5 weeks ago, and I thought that I would share my process with you guys and explain the different type of classes and what is required to get that license. So let's get started. Okay, first off, there are classes in this driving license. So I'll explain the classes first and then I'll get into the details later. The first class, which is known as class 7, it's known as the learner's license. And then there's a class 5 probationary license. Then further up, class 5 advanced license, or also known as non-probationary license. And then class 4, 3, 2 and 1. So the criterias are for class 7, which is known as the learner's license. You can apply for it once you turn 14 years old, and you will need to sit for a knowledge test online, and once you pass the test you can drive, provided that the person who's sitting next to you should have the advanced class 5 driver's license, and you cannot drive between 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning, and obviously no alcohol in your blood. Once you are qualified to go to class 5 probationary license, that takes a year from your class 7 license, then you can sit for the road test after going to a driving school and learning. You can sit for the road test. Once you pass the road test, you have the class 5 probationary license, which you have to keep for a minimum of 2 years, and then you can give the advanced road test and go to the non-probationary license. So in these 2 years, you cannot have any alcohol in your system, and you have to remain suspension free for the last year in the 2 years of your license. Once you are done with that, then you just go and give the class 5 advanced road test to get the advanced class 5 license. And now, so where do I stand in all this? Since I did not have any license back home, so I had to start from the beginning. If you guys have license from back home, and if it's minimum 2 years old or older than that, then you can submit your license from back home and everything else will be shortened. You can immediately take the knowledge test, and the wait period of 1 year will be exempted for you, and you can sit for the driving test and get the class 5 non-probationary license. So that's really fast to get if you have a license from back home. Since I did not have any license from back home and I like zero idea of driving, I had like literally no idea. If you're someone like me who has no experience in driving, doesn't even know the left and right lanes properly, and who is like a noob when it comes to driving, then hello, welcome to my world. And so you will go through the steps which I'm going through, which is the first step is giving that knowledge test and obtaining the class 7 driver's license. So my husband also did not have a license back home because, as we all know, back home driving is outrageous and there are no proper lanes, especially if you're living in a South Asian country. Cars are coming and going everywhere. Everyone is everyone's boss. So he did not prefer driving back home. And he did not have a license, but he does know driving from when we used to stay back in the Middle East, and he understands a lot of the street signs and the driving, so it was easy for him. The knowledge test was easy for him. For me, it was a complete nightmare since I had zero knowledge about these things before, and I stayed in Saudi Arabia, so we used to drive like the way we are driving right now in Canada. Like the driver's seat would be on the left hand side, but then in Bangladesh, when we moved to Bangladesh, then it became on the right hand side, so it was getting all confusing for me. Now the materials which you need are completely free and they're online. So you just have to go online, and the website is www.transportation.alberta.ca. I will post that link below in the comment section so that you guys can get to that link. And yeah, it's a very good guide. It's completely free, and it has about 200 pages of detailed writings. Sounds fun, right? But if you're like me who wants to save time, who doesn't have the patience to go through reading 200 pages and then reading in details left curb and right hand turn curbs and blah blah blahs, then I'd recommend you to buy this book, which will save time and will get you prepared in 2 days. It only took me 2 days, and it's this book right here, which is the Learner's License Prep Kit. I went to the licensing registration place where you have to go and give the tests. The one where I went to was in downtown. It's called the Licensing Co. And initially they just told me about the website, but I needed something where things would be faster for me. So I kept on asking them, like, is there something else? Is there a book? And after persisting them so many times with that question, they said, okay, we do have a book, but it's going to cost you $22. I thought, instead of failing the test like once or twice, especially the knowledge test, just let me just buy the book and I'll be prepared in 2 days. I don't even have the time, and the patience. Even if I have the time, I don't have the patience to study for so long. So I decided to buy this book, and I want to show you a bit about this book. It's really easy. So there are like, let's see how many cue cards are there. There are 102 cue cards, and the questions are given over here. Like, let's say, what are the conditions of the learner's license? And the answers are in the back of this paper. So the question is here, and then the answers are here. And it's really great for you to just read all of this and then revise and give the test, right? That's what I did. So what we did was we got this book for $22, and then we finished reading this, and there were some sample tests online. Again, I'll post those links below where you can give the sample tests online. After giving those tests online, I thought we were prepared, and we only took the preparation in like 2 days, and we went to the licensing code to sit for our knowledge test. Now, when we arrived to the licensing code, we arrived about 2 p.m. and then we decided to revise for a little. I decided to revise. He was already confident, and I knew he was gonna pass anyway because he didn't really study that much and it was really easy for him. But for someone who has zero driving knowledge, hello, and who doesn't want to fail because it's expensive, each test costs you $18.1. And I didn't want to resit. It's the knowledge test, right? It's supposed to be easy. There are 30 MCQs, and you need to get 25 right out of 30 in order to pass, which is like 83%. And the rule in this knowledge test is, it's a computer-based test, and if you get the first 25 right, then you pass automatically and you don't even have to go to 30 questions. So he went to 26 questions. He just got one wrong in the middle, and he passed really comfortably. Then it was my turn to take the test. It was 4, so I could write the exam, and I was the last person writing the exam for that day. Now, when I sat to write the exam, I made mistakes in the first question, in the third question, and I think somewhere in a 8th or 9th question. So I already made 3 mistakes, and I can only make a max of 5 mistakes, or else I fail the test and I have to resit for it. And once you fail the test, you cannot resit for it the same day. You need to wait for 24 hours again to retake the test, which I did not want to do at all, because I was all prepared to take this test. I even bought the book, and I thought, what the hell is wrong? What's going on? And then I told myself to calm down, and I gave the answers. And so I skipped 2 questions in the middle. Like, you can skip the questions and come back to them later. So there were 2 questions left, the ones which I skipped, and I need to get 1 right in order to pass. So the second last question, I made a mistake. So now it's like I have 24 right out of 29 questions, and 1 more is left. If I get that right, then I pass. If I get that wrong, then I fail and have to repeat. and I had no idea what the answer was. There's something about threshold and I didn't study about it, and it was so confusing, and I was so scared. I felt like my heart was up in my sleeve. It was so scary for me, but alhamdulillah, I guessed the right answer and I passed. When I got up, the lady who works in the licensing course, she's like, did you fail the test or did you pass? I'm like, yeah, I passed the test. She's like, oh, okay, because you look like you failed. And I'm like, yeah, thank God I passed the test. The lady took $85 for getting the license. So you need to pay $18.1 for the test and $85 for the license. And then she did an eye test to see if your eyesight is good or not. You can do that with your glasses on. So she took me to a machine. When you go to an eye doctor, those machines itself, and she told me to read few letters, point out few signs, and then she kept on flashing lights in the right and left to see if my senses work. And at the end of everything, she took a picture of me and she told me to sign it and said that it would be sent to our address within 10 working days or less. And that's how I got my driver's license. I still don't know how did I get it. But yeah, I was really excited that I own a driver's license now. And it's a learner's license, so that means that I can drive in the road provided that a class 5 advanced license person sits next to me. And we can take the test, the road test, after a year of our knowledge driver's license. So we are qualified to take the class 5 probationary license in 2020 August. So for this year, I guess we'll have to struggle with the public transport, and fingers crossed, because winter is coming and everyone's been telling us that. But I think inshallah we will survive. Next year when we give the road test, we can get a car and then we don't have to rely on public transport anymore. So yeah, that was my story about driver's license and how I got the driver's license. I hope it's easy for you. So I just want to do a recap. If you don't have a driver's license from before, then you need to sit for the class 7, which is the knowledge test, get that driver's license, and then after a year you will be qualified to sit for the road test. When you pass that, you have the class 5 probationary license, which you need to keep with yourself for 2 years till you sit for the advanced road test and get out of the probationary zone and get the class 5 advanced license. If you're planning to drive Uber and all those things, you need a class 4 and above. You need a commercial license. It doesn't work with class 5 or class 7. Yeah, so that's it. And if you have a driver's license, that is enough for all the identification needed in Alberta or in Canada. You can travel domestically with your driver's license. You can also opt for a residential card. Some people who don't want to sit for the driver's license test or doesn't want to sit for it immediately, they opt for a residential card. That's also easy. Just go to the licensing co and apply for your residential card by showing a utility bill or your present address, and something has to be mailed into your present address. And yeah, that's it. It's a really simple procedure. But you cannot have both residential card and driver's license together. You have to have either one or the other. So if you're planning to apply for the class 7 driver's license, then you cannot apply for the residential card. That's all about driving test and driver's license in Alberta. I hope I made it easier for you guys to apply and you guys have a better knowledge in how to obtain a driver's license in Alberta. Good luck with studying, and yeah, if you are like me and don't want to study too much, just buy that book. Or we even saw a cheaper book at Staples which was for $17, I think, and it was it had 200 questions in it, so maybe you can look for that as well. And that was $5 cheaper than the one which we got, but we saw that later, like a week or so later. Anyway, that doesn't matter. We passed the test. That's what matters. If you guys have any questions for me, do leave it in the comments below, and let me know what other kind of videos would you like to see. I am really excited to make more videos. So if you like my video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and please do support me. And thank you so much guys for the support. I hope you'll stay with me. Till next time, bye bye.